Okay, so this video is going to be done in parts because I'm going to show you the stages. I already did one of the boots with the Huberd's shoe oil, and I left one of the boots plain so I could show you the difference. It does changing the color if anybody's worried about like using it on a light color leather and it realistically changing it. But I just applied it. It's soaked in a little bit. It's still soaking in. It's about 75-80 degrees out here today because we're changing over from summer to fall. But yeah, so I'm going to show you what the boot looks like now with it just applied compared to an untouched boot. And then, as the product says, let it sit overnight for it to soak in. I'm going to show you what the boot looks like tomorrow, so you can see, like, once it's all soaked in, if it's changed the color or if it's lightened back up. So here we go. This is the boot with it just applied. So it did change it a little, but nowhere near as much as I was hoping, or not hoping, expecting. Just because I typically use mink oil on my boots, and if you've ever used mink oil, it really darkens. So here's an untouched boot. See, like, you can tell I applied, but it's not like, holy crap, you know what I mean? Like, there's a difference, obviously, but it's not drastic. Like, if I would have used mink oil on these boots, they'd be basically like a very dark brown. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and apply a coat to the second boot, and then I'll see you back tomorrow to show you what they look like after it's soaked in. It also recommends that you, after they dry, put another coat on. I don't know if I'll put it on the second coat or not. I may or may not, just because you can over oil a boot, but it also says to add a second coat, so we'll see. But yeah, I'll see you once they're done. So yeah, next second, I guess. Alright, so day 2 on the boots. They have sat overnight, and they look drastically different in my opinion. Where's the box picture? Yeah, they basically, to me, look like they did when I got them. So yeah, it definitely like soaks in and dries. I will say, I don't know if it's how I did it or just how the boot oil is, but it doesn't condition as much as I was assuming it was going to. And I only say that because I'm used to using mink oil. I use the Mermac mink oil from Boot Barn, and typically anytime I put that stuff on any boots, it's so conditioning that it like ridiculously breaks in the leather. Like this would be floppy and hanging over. It would be so conditioned. Now, some people will argue that that's too much. I don't know. I just know that's what I've always used, and it's always worked for me. But as I said in the past video, it also like ridiculously dry or ridiculously darkens the leather, and I did not want that in these kind of boots. I wanted them to basically look stock. You know what I mean? I wanted them to look the same as they do now, but also be conditioned and waterproof. That being said, I can definitely tell the weather's conditioned. It's definitely softer than it was yesterday. It's just on a scale between the oil and the mink oil that I'm used to, completely different. But if you're looking for a leather boot conditioner, leather in general conditioner that conditions, also waterproofs, but is it going to change radically the color of your leather? I definitely recommend you give this a try, because I'm shocked. Like, I saw a color difference yesterday, as y'all saw in the beginning of the video, and I kind of sort of expected it to look different today, as in like it did yesterday, but nothing. Now I'll be honest, I'm going to add a second coat, because I do believe it recommends. Yeah, it says let it dry overnight and then apply another coat. So it does recommend a second coat, so I'm going to do a second coat. Not to mention I rubbed it on, so that's a fairly thin coating. If I get up tomorrow and it's a drastic change, then I'll do another part of this video and you'll see it. Otherwise, if it looks the exact same as it does now, but with another coat on it, then I won't make another part of the video, because there's no point. But yeah, I'm gonna do it just because it says to, and I feel like it wouldn't hurt. But yeah, that's the boot. Everything's evened out, everything's dry. Next one, everything looks good. So yeah, if I see you tomorrow, I'll see you tomorrow. If not, this will be it. So potentially next video. So next part of the Huberd's shoe oil video with my cats in the background. So I didn't actually think that I was gonna make this part, but once I got up this morning, I realized that I was making this part. So if you saw the last video, which I don't know why I'm saying that because it's part of this video, but in the last part of the video, I said that I was going to potentially do a second coat, and if it changes the color, I'll be back. It did. I also want to say as well that when I did my first coat, again, I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't know if I was doing it right, doing it wrong, any of that. They don't really specify. They just basically say rub the oil in. And so I watched a couple of YouTube videos, and in the YouTube videos I saw the vast majority of everybody else using it kind of thicker. Like most people were painting it on with a paintbrush. They put a lot on, a lot more than I did my first go around. And so I was like, okay, I'll put a little bit of a thicker coat and just let the whole thing sit. And I did. It's different. So it's definitely darker. I don't know how much you can actually tell based off the last video, but it's dark enough to where I was like, I need to tell you guys, especially in certain areas like right here, where I guess it got bunched up in the stitching. I still personally really love how it turned out. It's still a lot lighter than if I would have used Minkle. If I had another pair of boots, I would show you, but all of my boots that I use Minkle on are very dark leather, so you wouldn't be able to tell anyway. Upon second coat, actually really conditioned. So I know I said in the last video like I couldn't really tell if it was conditioning all that much. I mean, it was, but not like my Minkle. It's not as floppy as my Minkle would be, but you can just tell by feeling the leather is like ridiculously soft. And to be perfectly honest, on the tongue you don't want it to be super floppy anyway, because it'll just keep getting in your way and rolling up and bunching up. But yeah, they turned out great. I'm happy with the color. Wish I had some water, and I would show you. Usually there's a bottle of water sitting here, and I would show you the waterproofness. So I apologize for that, because I didn't think to do that. But they are waterproof. I already tried. You just trust me, bro. But yeah, I don't know about as far as like, you know, down in here and stuff like that, but that's also kind of partly the boot. So I can't really speak on that, but as far as like repelling water, what the oil does, yeah, it works. So yeah, definitely happy. Kind of like a dark antique leather vibe going on, which I dig. So yeah, that will be it for my Hubert's shoe oil video, and look for some more videos from Hubert's shoe stuff in the future, because I still have to use the grease and the whatever the other one was, because I can't remember. But yeah, until then, next video.